This humble-looking structure may look like a hermit shelter, but 300 years ago it was literally firing up the economy of the county I'm visiting today. Find out what was made there and where I am in just a moment. Today we're helping a married couple fulfill a lifelong dream.
Oh, crikey.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I could see myself in this.
Yes.
And our property search brings out the full spectrum of reactions.
I do like that. It's just all my worst nightmares.
Today I'm in Devon, near Bideford, and this is one of the many remaining lime kilns scattered across the North Devon coast and estuaries. Before the advent of cement, quicklime was used as a building material, but also as a soil fertiliser and to make paint. And it's manufactured by taking raw limestone, transported often as far away as South Wales here, and then burnt in the kilns. So these little relics of our industrial past are not the only fascinating thing about this stunning county. Devon sits in the southwest of England, with land borders to its west and east, and the Bristol Channel to its north and the English Channel to its south. The northern coastline features rugged, rocky outcrops and cliffs, as well as natural harbours such as the one at Ilfracombe. Such geographic features encouraged maritime trade, as well as providing strategic start points for several invasions, notably to Ireland and the Western Isles of Scotland in the 13th century. Smaller coves dot this coastline. Combe Martin, located in an area of outstanding natural beauty, features a sandy beach flanked by natural rock pools. Other seaside resorts include Lynmouth and Linton, a twin town separated by a 700-foot gorge and joined by a water-powered funicular railway opened in late Victorian times. Devon has provided inspiration for an array of writers and artists. Damien Hirst has recently made his home and his mark here, whilst the 19th century novelist R.D. Blackmore set the historical romance Lorna Doone around Exmoor National Park. In the village of Malmsmead, the pack horse bridge featured in the story can still be seen crossing the river. With so much on offer, it's no surprise that the county proves popular with those seeking a temporary or more permanent escape to the country. As you've just seen, Devon is a particularly desirable place to live, and that's reflected in the prices. The average price for a detached property here is around £310,000, which is £25,000 above the national figure. And as you might expect, in the north of the county, it's properties near the coast that command a particular premium. Villages like Croyd or Georgeham, just south of Ilfracombe, are very desirable because of their proximity to stunning beaches and great surfing. But the plethora of property in the town of Ilfracombe itself means that you can pick up bargains there. So what's attracted our buyers to this lovely part of the world? Let's meet them and find out. Tony and Sheila were born and raised in the same Midlands city, but it wasn't until their teenage years that their paths first crossed.
We met in Derby at a youth club. We were 16 at the time.
I was 16, yeah.
We've been married 50 years next April.
Soon after their marriage, Tony found work in Oxford as a professional photographer, and the couple relocated to the city. But Sheila never lost sight of a lifelong dream.
I always was promised when we moved to Oxford I was going to get a cottage, but it didn't work out like that. So I'm still looking for my cottage.
Tony finally retired a few years ago. The time was right to relocate to the peace of the countryside. They bought what appeared to be Sheila's dream cottage next to a disused airfield, but it soon turned out to be a nightmare.
4 years ago, we thought we'd found the ideal place in the country. It was a converted cowshed, very, very nice. The day we moved in, however, it got very noisy. There were aircraft, and then the military moved in as well. So we decided this wasn't for us.
We wanted a quiet, nice place to live in the country, and it didn't work out.
The couple decided to sell up but are now left living in a one-bedroom flat above their daughter's garages, with all their belongings in storage. It's a far cry from what they wanted from retirement.
My daughter doesn't want us really to go. She'd like us living here for a long while, but I don't want to be a geriatric and not having done anything. I've still got life in me yet. I've got multiple sclerosis. I've had MS for quite a long while, and I will not be beaten. I am stubborn.
Life is short and we need to get on with what we want to do.
And after the last one, we've got to get it right.
Putting health concerns and false starts behind them, the couple are keen to make their second attempt at moving a success. And this time they have their sights set on the seaside and North Devon.
The area we like the best is on that north coast. It's not quite so commercial.
They say the coast is best for you, the fresh air, just away from all that traffic, having sea air, just walking along cliffs in the open air, really.
After their move, Sheila would like to spend more time on her art, whilst Tony would like to continue with his role as a voluntary first responder. But most of all, they want to make the most of every day they have together.
I want to go out there and do my own thing and live my life, you know, not through what everybody else wants me to do, what I want to do.
If I live to 80, I want to enjoy the next 10 years, and we need to be in a place we can enjoy and be accepted as part of a community.
I do hope that we can find a nice place now.
We have been trying for 2 years,
Yes.
and we're quite picky, I have to admit.
Tony and Sheila have asked us to concentrate our search in North Devon, with its easier access to and from their friends and family in Oxford. They admit they're picky, but I'm about to find out just how true that is as we meet up in the county to learn more about the home they're after. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
What attracts you to this area? I mean, it's a beautiful part of the
I
country.
like just the views, the coast. I like the ruggedness.
You know this area quite well, don't you?
Yes, we do. We've been looking for a house for 2 years.
So you've been looking for a while. What's put you off the properties that you've seen?
Well, it's always just little bits that's not quite right.
We also have had certain instances where we've arrived outside the house and then phoned the agent to say, don't bother coming over. We know when we look at a place whether it's going to be right or not.
OK, you can't do that today.
I know.
No, OK.
We won't do that
Just be
today.
polite and go around it, because we have selected some nice ones.
Oh.
Tell me about the location. Do you want to be way out in the countryside?
I don't mind being out in the countryside, so we're quite adaptable to where we'd like to be.
I want to be able to sit outside in the evening and look out over views. I want somewhere quiet, really, that's the main thing. Not a main road, no wind turbines, no industry.
And no airfields.
And
definitely no
airfields.
And remind us how much money you've got to play with?
300,000 to 325.
325, we always like the highest figure.
Yes, I thought you might.
And with 325, obviously, the coast does command premium prices.
Well, yes, we're prepared for that.
So what would you compromise on if you had to compromise?
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
And then cut out 1 bedroom.
We don't mind a place that needs a bit of renovation. So if we can sort of go at a lower price and then add to it, that wouldn't be a problem.
So you don't mind rolling up your sleeves and doing a bit of DIY?
Absolutely.
And what about the style of the house? Are you fussed about whether it's modern or old?
It's an old property.
Old?
Old, yes.
So you have a bit of flexibility, but you also are quite picky.
Yes, I suppose, yeah. I always wanted a cottage.
So you know your mind, that's good. Well, we've got 3 lovely properties lined up, all quite different.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you're not going to walk off before you actually go in them. But while the weather's nice, we should start.
OK, so go to that.
With a maximum budget of £325,000, Sheila and Tony are looking to finally fulfil that dream of living in a cottage. They'd like an old property with a minimum of 2, but preferably 3 bedrooms. They don't mind getting stuck in and doing some work themselves. And they're flexible about location, as long as it is peaceful. They're also keen to have some countryside views. We've lined up 3 great homes to show them, and I'll be asking them to guess the price of each before I reveal it. The last one is the mystery property, which has lots to offer, although it's not exactly what they've asked for. First, though, we're heading to house number 1. And you guys have been married 50 years, is that?
50 years in April.
Wow. So presumably that means you're sort of on the same wavelength. You must be if you've been together that long.
Yes, I think we are, aren't we?
We are,
We
really.
like similar things.
Is that
and,
true of house buying as well?
Yes.
Very much so,
Yeah.
yes.
So do you think this is do you want to put down roots here, or can you see there'll be a few more moves after this one?
Oh, no, I don't see not a lot more, because we're 70 now, so you don't want to keep moving.
Which is why this has got to be the right one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our first foray into North Devon is a 3-mile drive from the market town of Barnstaple and about 10 miles from the North Devon coast in the village of Goodley. Poised to ring out across the rolling hills, the bell tower of Goodley's Gothic-style St Gregory's Church dates back to the turn of the 15th century, although the rest was largely rebuilt in Victorian times. Nearby, a former Methodist church now houses a preschool. With a pub, hall, and plenty of pastoral scenery, this location is far enough away from the county's busy tourist hotspots to offer all the peace and quiet Sheila and Tony have asked for. The detached home I want to show them is situated at the edge of the village. Here we have our first offering.
It's quite quaint, isn't it?
It's quite sweet, isn't it?
It's in a very quiet place, isn't it?
Very quiet, no airfields.
I know, no noise.
It's
I can
super
hear the
quiet.
birds singing.
It's nice.
And you are right on the edge of the village, as you've got these lovely views over the open fields.
Yeah.
It looks as if there's a lot of houses into the back garden, though. It looks as if it's probably blocked in a bit.
I quite like the look of it at first, but we'll have to see the inside.
Let's have a look inside.
OK.
This house was only built in 2003 and has been already refurbished throughout by the current owners. We're turning right from the central hall into what is now a generously proportioned space. Come into the kitchen. This used to be the garage, and the present owner converted this into a big kitchen diner. And what was the kitchen is now a big utility room on the other side of the hall.
Yeah. Oh, it's nicely done. I love the colours.
Quite spacious, isn't it?
It is
Plenty of
spacious.
room.
And they're nicely laid out, isn't it? This is our style.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Belfast sink as well, that's our style.
Yes, definitely.
Is it plucking at your heartstrings there?
The kitchen is,
Kitchen certainly is, yeah.
but I'll wait and see for the rest.
Let's continue the tour. I'll show you the main living space. Located behind the kitchen diner, to the rear of the property, is the main reception room. The sitting room runs the opposite direction. The kitchen comes in north-south and this is east-west, with doors through into the garden.
But it's a nice little room.
It is, isn't it?
It just seems a little room, though, doesn't it?
So it's a bit small for you, is it?
A little. We've got 2 big settees. It's modern looking.
It is too modern, I think. Yes.
Too modern.
I think so.
You don't have a beam anywhere. There's not a beam in sight. You normally get some kind of a beam showing in a real old property.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you've got a nice log burner there, so,
Yeah.
so for the winter nights you can keep nice and warm, but maybe not quite the right historic tone.
No.
The ground floor also features a downstairs shower and separate cloakroom. So far, the lack of period features here have met with disappointment from Sheila and Tony. Still, there's more to see upstairs, where a landing, set out as a study area with a skylight, could be used for arts and crafts. A well-appointed family bathroom serves 3 good-sized bedrooms, a guest double, a generous single with pretty views to fields, and finally, their master bedroom. This is the biggest of the 3.
All right.
It's not en suite, it's a walk-in wardrobe there in the eaves.
As long as there's room for lots of shoes and handbags.
It's got quite a lot of windows in. It makes them very light rooms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of space upstairs, I mean, is this what you're looking for?
Oh,
How-
yes. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. The whole house has got virtually the right amount of room.
But if you've
That's
got a
right.
bit more land, probably, you could put a conservatory on, which opens it up quite considerably.
Well, let's see if the outside of this house offers the potential to extend that Sheila is looking for. Double wooden gates give access to parking for 2 cars, while fruit trees and flower beds frame a small lawned area, ornamental pond and patio seating. There's also a log store and shed, along with stunning country views. But it's not the largest of spaces. In terms of the size, is it too small or...?
There's nowhere I could put a conservatory on, if need be.
You wouldn't even need an electric mower on this one, would you? You could do it by hand.
Pair of scissors. I'm quite sure.
What about the proximity of neighbours?
I'd rather just have fields there if I could. If I sit here, I feel as if I'm being nosy and I can't look out, you know, because you look as if you're looking into somebody's house.
So what price tag would you put on this property?
You go first.
295?
I'd go 302.
Very fast and efficient, and almost exactly right. In between the two, you'd be spot on. It's on at £299,950.
All right. So, yeah, it was quite close,
Not
weren't
far
we?
off, are we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you go inside and explore a bit more, and then I will meet you at the front.
Lovely, lovely, thank you.
£25,000 below their top budget, this three-bedroom house provides the quiet location Sheila and Tony are after. As well as being detached, it has well-proportioned accommodation on both floors. There are lovely views inside and out, and there is private parking.
This is quite nice, just enough for
Well,
a single bed.
one single bedroom, wouldn't
Yeah,
we, really?
or you
They've
can...
got a dresser in as well.
Yeah, there's ample space.
The insides are fantastic. Bedrooms are nice, the views are good, and if it was an old property, we would say, yes, this is the one. This house is just too modern for us, basically. We could discuss it and perhaps we might change our minds, but we don't know yet till we've seen the other houses.
I think the location of this house is quite good, actually. I think it's very quiet village, and you've got views over the back. Overall, the size is not too bad. The garden's a little too small for us. A bit more than you could have put a conservatory on, and that would have allowed for the house to be that bit bigger.
So if you close the door behind you, we're all ready for the next property. Follow me.
Okay.
There are signs of creative endeavour all over North Devon. One small coastal cabin in the village of Bucks Mills is now maintained by the National Trust, just as it was left by long-term resident artists Judith Ackland and Mary Stella Edwards in 1971. Mindful of Sheila's passion for art, we've lined up a meeting with another local artist 20 miles along the coast. Caroline Baxter is keen to share her love for this very beautiful part of the world and show Tony and Sheila how she expresses it.
I brought you up here because this is a very special place for me. It's known as the Ilfracombe Tors. Locally, it's known as Little Switzerland because of all the hills. Art-wise, it is just an artist's dream. It is wild, it's free, it's forever changing. In spring, it's bright green. In autumn, it's golden.
What sort of artist are you and what materials do you use?
I paint with wool. I'm a felt artist. I call them woolly watercolours.
Caroline includes local wool in her materials, much of which she dyes herself using foraged natural products. She's cooking up her latest batch with a common kitchen cupboard ingredient.
I stewed up a load of onion skins, and that's what we've got. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the wool in here.
Caroline has used a solution to remove the natural oils from the wool and prepare it for the dye. She places it in a pan of cold water with the onion mixture, increasing the heat very slowly to prevent shrinkage.
We'll simmer it for up to an hour, then it'll be golden brown.
It's just beginning to bubble now.
Yes, it's just beginning to bubble.
What other things can you use to dye with?
Oh, there's lots of things that I can forage locally. Elder leaves, bark, berries, bracken and bramble. So around here, there's lots of things you can use. And they're all those natural colours, especially of the moors and the cliff tops.
Right.
You can already see that it's beginning to pick up a lovely yellow colour.
Yeah.
The next stage is to use the dyed wool to recreate Devon's scenic beauty.
Is that where we were this morning?
Yeah, that's where we were this morning.
Caroline shows Sheila and Tony how to separate the fibres and mix them together like paint. The mixed colours are then placed onto a white background to build up a picture.
Where's a bit for you?
That's very blue. I think that's a bit too blue.
Yeah, it's a bit of sea.
That's not sea colour.
Well, it's a sunny day.
All
It's a
right.
sunny day.
It's not very good at colours.
Don't forget to put the sheep in.
You can make those. Would you like to put some in, darling?
I think I'll leave the creativity to you, darling. But
Typical
you're
man.
doing so well. And if I did it, it wouldn't be right.
He's good at woodwork, so I suppose he can't be good at everything, can you?
Now to set the scene in place.
If we just warm it with our hands a bit, very gentle like that,
gently.
and the warmth of your hand and that gentle movement will just start the felting process very gently. You put this piece of netting over it to protect it, and then we add soapy water. And basically we're going to go across and wet our picture. We want all the fibres wet, and you just press it down until it's all wet and flat. If we carefully take the netting off, we'll be able to see.
Oh, gosh.
Brilliant.
Yes,
So it's already beginning to look a bit more like a picture. So we are now ready to felt.
Wool fibres are covered in microscopic hook-like scales. Wetting, then rolling, causes these to attach and bond together. This process of felting is similar to shrinking your jumper in the washing machine. After about 400 rolls and a rinse to get the soap out, Sheila and Tony's creation is ready.
So there's your felt picture.
Thank you very, very much.
And please take it with you and put it up. Pride of place in your new home.
I will, actually.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
The next property is further inland, around a 45-minute drive to either the north or south coasts, and just a couple of miles from the small market town of North Taunton, in the village of Bondley. Lying over the river in the upper Tor Valley, Bondley includes a church with some surviving Norman features and several pathways such as the Tarka Trail, the fictional route taken by the well-known literary otter of the same name. Facilities located 3 miles away in Weekley include a post office, butcher shop and a choice of pubs. But back on the outskirts of Bondley, this inland location could give them the character bones they are after. Look at our second offering. It is attached. It's 2/3 of this building, but it is old, it is historic, at least 200 years old. What are your first impressions?
We've always said no to a semi. We once lived in a semi and it was disastrous.
Right. What about you, Tony? What is your
I
first?
feel exactly the same, but let's have a look inside and see how it goes then. You never know.
You do never know. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Originally, this property was a 2-storey farm building known as a linny, but it has a long-standing history of residential use, as they'll see from the features inside. Come on in to the new and improved
Oh, that's nice.
agricultural shed.
Now that's a
very
wow, yes.
This would have
Yes.
been a building typically where you kept carriages and carts. This would have been the whole building, this space
Right.
here. And these beams would have separated out different compartments. It's been extended over hundreds of years. You've got the lovely kind of
Gorgeous, isn't
ingle
it?
nook with a...
And the
is
bread
nice.
oven. Oh, that's lovely. A surprise, isn't it?
It is a surprise, very surprised.
It's a nice big lounge.
I like the way they've done the sort of inset bits on the beams as well. It works really well.
Oh, it's very it's nice.
But come through to the kitchen, because I
Yeah.
think you'll really like this. I think this is where the house really excels.
Wow. Oh, yes.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's lovely.
Another burner as well.
Yeah, it's not cute.
So this would have been the back wall of the original building. So this was an extension put on before the present owners moved in. It's really lovely to have this long,
It is, isn't it?
open
It is.
space. And they've got a walk-in larder.
Yeah, wow.
You've got a space for a big dresser.
You have a long sideboard, which it would take lovely.
And a wonderful proper conservatory, I see, with a kind of brick
a
base.
proper wood one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love the kitchen.
What do you think, Tony?
I like it. I like it very much.
Yes, I could see myself in this.
Yes.
Ah, that's a good sign of approval after a
It
slightly
is,
wobbly start.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
it was
this
a
is
wobbly
good.
start.
Let's look upstairs, because there are 3 bedrooms here.
3.
That's good.
That's good.
The character features inside this period property have clearly won over Sheila and Tony. Stairs from the living room take us up to the first floor, which I think offers them all the accommodation they want. To the front and south-facing part of the home, there are 2 good-sized double bedrooms that could be for visitors or used as hobby rooms. Both are served by a large family bathroom with freestanding roll-top bath, whilst on the other side of the landing, we find the bedroom which could be theirs. This is their
That's a
master
nice
bedroom.
room. That's lovely.
Oh, that's
the
nice.
fireplace.
This used to be a sloping attic space,
Right.
and they lifted it and took the...
Yeah, you can see the ceiling going down.
And it's sweet, actually, because that fireplace is actually a cupboard.
Is it?
It swings open and there's space
wow.
behind it in the eaves for storage.
Very clever.
That's amazing.
It's a big space, isn't it?
It is a big
And the
space.
ensuite is really also very spacious. The slate floor and a shower room.
That's good then.
So is
Yeah,
the
I like
inside
that.
grown on you?
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely. Yeah.
I can see your eyes darting around like that.
No, you have to trying to take everything in.
I'll let you explore in more detail afterwards, but I want to show you the garden because it's very
Okay.
special.
Lovely.
So far, so good for the interior here. Outside, the driveway is shared, but there's a great deal of seclusion to enjoy in this third of an acre plot. The outbuildings provide a potting shed, tool store, greenhouse and wood store, whilst the garden itself has raised beds for homegrown veg, fruit trees and well-stocked borders. Plus one feature that's a little more unusual. There's an outside toilet there. You see this cream building? It's a
That's
little
amazing.
outside dunny.
Yeah.
Do you like the garden?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way it's been treated. You know, if it was just all flat, it would look nothing, but they've given it a bit of character.
The only thing that lets it down for me is that does look a bit of a hodgepodge.
Or where they lifted the roof.
Probably, yes, where they've lifted it, I think.
What do you see in terms of a price tag?
I think 325,000, I would say.
I think about 312.
312. Well, in this instance, Tony, you should listen to your wife. It's on at exactly what she said, £325,000.
I'm never going to hear the end of this.
So why don't you go in and explore, and I'll see you at the front.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bang on budget, this period cottage has lots of the character features Sheila and Tony have asked for, including an inglenook fireplace and exposed beams. Downstairs, there's a large country-style kitchen diner, and upstairs, the 3 bedrooms provide plenty of accommodation both for themselves and guests. Out in the garden, the manageable plot is thoughtfully laid out and has plenty of storage. Plus, importantly for them, it's quietly located at the edge of a village.
It's just a nice bright room, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this is on the south-facing side, isn't it? Yeah,
So-
it's ideal.
When Alistair said it was a semi, my heart sunk a bit. But then when we came inside, it was amazing.
The sitting room area is beautifully done with the beams and the log burner, and the kitchen is to die for. There are 1 or 2 drawbacks. One is there isn't a view from the back garden, which is what we wanted, and we wanted detached, and this is basically a semi-detached.
There's just a few bits that I'm trying to get my head round. If there's one thing I could do to it is take the roof off and redo it.
Ah, all done. That is this house tour over.
It's beautiful, really.
Is it nice? Yes. It won you
It is
over
nice.
a little bit.
Yes, it has. The lounges and the kitchen. Perfect.
Perfect. Come on, let's have a little rest. We've done for today.
Right, thank you.
Husband and wife, Tony and Sheila from the city of Oxford, have £325,000 to fulfil their lifelong dream of country living. So far, it's been a struggle to match their wish list to their budget. Coming up, the mystery property goes out on a limb to give them a whole new perspective. You all right with heights?
Yes, we used to climb when we were younger.
And I'll be making my creative mark with a unique local pigment. It's really satisfying and enormously black. Back at the beginning of this search, when we were talking to Tony and Sheila in Oxford, they did say that they were very picky and that everything had to be perfect for this move. And that's completely understandable when we remember what happened to their aerodrome house. And it seems that we haven't really hit the mark with the first 2 properties. Even that lovely house yesterday afternoon seemed a bit too far from the sea for them. So the mystery house is, as ever, a complete wild card, and it's definitely close to the sea, and it has got amazing views. But whether it will tickle their fancy remains to be seen. Tony and Sheila said they wanted to be near the sea, and the mystery property is located right on the coast in the seaside resort of Ilfracombe. Spooling forward from its Iron Age origins, Ilfracombe developed both fishing and farming communities, its natural harbour making it a safe port. and key location for the shipping of coal and lime from Wales. Its heyday as a tourist hotspot was in the 1950s, but it remains a popular destination, retaining much of its traditional appeal. Have you guys been to Ilfracombe before?
Yes, we brought our grandchildren about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic old Victorian seaside resort.
It's kept its character, hasn't it?
It famously has this Damien Hirst statue, fabulously controversial, as always. He's a resident here, so I think he's sort of done quite a lot to bring up the interest in the area. Is it something you'd like to live close
yes.
to?
Yeah, I quite like that.
It certainly is,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, it's our ideal, really.
I like the North Coast. It's rugged and it's not all too commercial here, is it?
I might even buy a boat as well, temptation.
Yeah. We have thought about it, haven't we? Depends how close we are.
Well, actually, the Mystery House is very close indeed.
Is it?
Sounds good.
Follow me. In fact, today's mystery property is located up on a hill above us, in one of the most commanding positions on the North Devon coastline. So a few more steps, because this is the property we brought you to see.
Oh, good God.
Different.
So the flat we're going to view is the one right at the top.
Not impressed.
It's not our ideal property.
Property.
The location's perfect, but it's not what we would have chosen initially.
We'll be prepared to have a look and see what's there.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fact you're game. So head up, we're going to go around and catch the lift. We're heading to one of 14 apartments in a historic building originally opened as a hotel in 1891 and designed to look like a French chateau. Outside, there is allocated parking in a shared lot. The mystery proposition is accessed via stairs or lift.
Another nightmare.
Then, once inside the private hall, stairs lead up to an impressive multifunctional open-plan living space. Come through. I want to bring you to the main event, which is this space.
That's great.
That's incredible, isn't
It
it?
is actually.
It really is.
There's windows everywhere to make the most of the view.
It's gorgeous.
So you've got the two turret spaces. One's like the observatory over the sea, and another one over the town, and of course the big balcony. So what do you think of the actual space?
The space is great. Yes, I do like that. It's just all my worst nightmares. The lift,
A flat.
flat.
It was always a gamble bringing you here, but it's a modern style conversion. You've got all the kind of modern open plan kitchen.
Yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful. But it's not us, I think.
Beautiful, but not you. Come and take a look at the dining space. You do get lovely views over the town.
Oh, you certainly do, don't you? It's gorgeous.
These are the Jubilee Gardens. So these were the sort of the epicentre of the Victorian pleasure gardens in Ilfracombe. They used to have a very long and elaborate sort of theatre and ballroom. And it was burnt down in the 80s, and they built in the 90s this sort of slightly striking-looking theatre complex. Effectively, those are your gardens. No gardens.
And we don't have to mow them.
Exactly. Let's go and have a peek at the master bedroom. There's no doubt the stunning views and prime coastal location are huge pluses for the mystery property. There are 2 bedrooms here, a double served by its own separate bathroom, and then there is the master, which has its own ensuite. Lovely sea view here.
Oh, that's lovely.
beautiful.
Well, waking up to that in the morning is great, isn't
It's
it?
quite a thing, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
regardless
Amazing.
of what you feel about flats, I mean, being this high up and having this view.
It is amazing, actually.
It's the sort of place you need binoculars to look at the ships, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can see it would be quite nice if I was okay with lifts. I'm not. And also,
If you're okay with flats, which you're not.
which I'm not. But the views are to die for.
Let's actually go onto the balcony, because that's a really large view, and we can talk about the price.
Okay.
This is why we brought you here.
Wow.
The views.
Well, amazing, isn't it?
Are you all right with heights?
Yes. We used
good.
to climb when we was younger.
It is special, isn't it?
It is, actually.
And also the sun rises there, so you get the sunrise over the
That's
cliffs.
fantastic.
OK, so what do you think this little slice of Ilfracombe is worth?
I would say over our budget, so I would say 340.
I go for 335.
You two are really good. Actually, this time Tony's spot on.
Oh,
It's
right.
actually on the market for £335,000. Wow, you really have been looking around a property in this area, haven't you?
We know it quite well.
Go back in and have a little sniff. There's another bedroom and the other bathroom.
Okay.
And I'll
Thank
see
you.
you downstairs. Slightly above budget at £335,000, our mystery proposition does offer Sheila and Tony the 2 bedrooms they asked for, as well as incredible views and proximity to the coast. As it's an apartment, ground rent and service charges are payable annually, but it does offer secure private parking and a long lease.
Well, this is one of the turrets, isn't it?
Yes, it is, actually.
Got a beautiful view of the sea there, don't you?
They're quaint, aren't they? The mystery house was a shock at first. A flat is one of my nightmares, and plus a lift. That's the other nightmare.
We don't want flats, we want a detached house. It's got one of the criteria that we asked for, and that's views. The views you couldn't beat anywhere.
You've got every room, you can see a different view, because you go to all the windows and you've got something different. It's beautiful.
Well, before the rain sets in, we should find us a place to have a cup of tea and talk through the week.
That's a good idea.
That's good.
As well as being the birthplace of many famous artists, including Sir Joshua Reynolds, Devon's unique beauty has been the crucible for much creativity over the centuries. But not only has the landscape served as an inspiration, it's also a rich source of natural materials. Today I'm meeting local illustrator, painter and sculptor Peter Ward, who has offered to show me how he makes art literally from the earth itself. Good morning, Pete. Now, North Devon coast, you're an artist. What drew you to this particular spot?
Basically, because there's a very special earth pigment that can be gathered here. And in particular, a pigment that was mined in Bideford until 1969 called Bideford Black. This is where the seam of Bideford Black actually reaches the coast.
So it's a seam of what?
It's a clay that runs along the side of a seam of anthracite, which is a very hard coal.
Around 350 million years ago, during the Carboniferous era, temperate forest, flanked by high mountains, covered lowlands in this area of Devon. As the mountains moved, the heartwood from tree ferns became buried up to 5 miles below the earth, where massive pressure worked to form the black clay-like seam in evidence today.
And there's an area across North Devon where there's been mining activity. There is a lot of excavations between here and Umberley, about 12 miles inland, but the main concentration was in Bideford.
Well, it'd be quite interesting to see it actually in situ. Can we actually go and spot it?
Yeah.
The Bideford Black, or Biddy Black, pigment was historically used as a natural anti-foul on the bottom of wooden boats to prevent barnacle and weed formation. But it's also been used as a tank camouflage in the Second World War and even in mascara.
This is the seam of Bideford Black here, running vertically down here at the bottom. You can see a mine adit, which is basically a drainage ditch. The mines that were dug on the top of the cliffs would have filled up with water. The miners went down, they'd walk about half an hour underground, and they would work there for sort of an 8-hour day. The pay was very good, but it was hard, dirty work. This is up until 1969, very little health and safety going on here.
Fortunately for me, today's task of foraging for pieces on the beach is far less arduous or dangerous.
Here's a bit of the lovely clay stuff that's fallen down.
So this looks like you could almost you could paint with this immediately.
You can. It's very, very simple stuff to paint with.
Yeah.
You come here, you collect this, you make your own paint. To me, it's a statement about North Devon. It's something about this place.
So you have to bow before the geography.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Nature is boss.
So how do you process it? How do you actually turn it into art material?
You can draw with it like that. But to make it into paint, the simplest way is to just mix this with water. You're making suspensions. You're not dissolving anything. There's no chemistry involved. It's just a suspension within water.
There's something primal about painting with the very landscape around us. And I can't resist having a go. First, mixing our lump from the beach with some water in a bowl.
How are you getting on there?
Well, it's kind of lumpy, but it's very black. And then letting the muse take me. It's It's really black.
When it dries, it's a kind of dull black.
It's really satisfying.
Yeah.
And enormously black.
And it's a very, very liberating material, possibly because you're not paying for it, possibly because soil has something within it which makes us happy, that connects us to something else.
I'm very taken. There is something really special about the fact that it's just come out of the cliff there.
Well, I think we'll just leave you there, Alistair.
Yes.
We'll come back in a few
Leave me 3 hours
hours.
later. It's a snail, do you see?
Yep, yep.
It's a Bideford black snail. I love it. It's wonderful. Well, we were under no illusions that Sheila and Tony had a very specific wish list. They called themselves picky. But even I can't put a positive spin on Sheila calling the mystery house her worst nightmare. But you never know. In the drive back from Ilfracombe, they may have changed their mind, or not. Let's go and find out. Nice cup of tea. Gives us a chance to reflect on the week and the houses. Has anything come into focus for you? I know that we didn't probably find the one that you wanted.
I would say the second property would fit the bill more than any of them. I love the downstairs. It was just a few things that was not quite right with it.
It's been very interesting seeing some good ideas, because the kitchen was beautifully designed and laid out. And if we do find a house that needs a bit of renovation, we will bear the design of that in mind, I'm sure.
The flat gave us food for thought afterwards. Because you
It
think,
certainly did.
because I wouldn't have thought I would have ever liked a flat. And it was so quiet while you were up there, and I thought that's amazing. Well, I would say now, looking at a flat, if it wasn't so many stories up, probably might even look at that. I don't know.
It would still have to be a top floor one.
It would have to be a top floor, because I couldn't stand people running around on top of the thing.
Do you think you'll ever find the house that you want?
If we
Yes.
haven't got one in 10 years, we're going to give up.
What's the next step for you guys?
Start house hunting again, I think. We'll be contacting the agents, we'll be looking at the various websites and putting a list together and coming down again.
I'm going to be a bit more focused on everything we need.
So you're going to be narrower, tighter.
Yes.
Good, well, I hope it goes well. I mean, it's been great fun. I'm sorry that we didn't find you your dream home, but hopefully you'll find somewhere close to Ilfracombe or the sea.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, it's been great fun.
Great
We've
fun.
enjoyed it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Usually the one thing you can certainly say on this show is that people come on and they leave with at least their criterion a little wider. They've been to see properties they wouldn't have considered, and they're a little bit more kind of open-hearted to different properties on the market. But in Sheila and Tony's case, the opposite seems to have been the case, that actually seeing the properties we've shown them seems to have narrowed their focus somewhat. But you know what? That's good for them, because they can afford to be picky. They don't have to move. They want this house to be the perfect house, and it's out there somewhere, so we wish them all the best. And I hope that you join us next time for more Escape to the Country. If you would like to escape to the country in England, Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.